It's been a busy year. It always generally is. And within that, there lies opportunity as a buyer in quarter four. And very rarely do people ever take advantage of it because they're also enjoying the festivities and not even thinking about buying real estate. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Diving into some stats from prior years and just talking about historical trends and seasons in the real estate market, specifically quarter four.
Which is where we sit.
Right.
So we just want to spell out an opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to steal any thunder, but the most recent market update we just did is likely to prove some of the points you're going to make, because we're seeing month over month pricing trends get worse for sellers. In other words, better for buyers. And we're just barely entering into Q4, which is interesting.
Well, and I think it is interesting you brought that up, because a lot of people think, they only look at things from an annual basis, or at least that's what the media a lot of the time pays attention to, especially in the real estate market.
And frankly, it's what we preach.
Yeah, it's true.
You don't want to look at the micro.
It is true. It is true. But I've always told people, when we start to get freaked out about values coming down, in any market, there's always going to be times of the year where you might see values come down.
Right.
And generally speaking, quarter four is one of those major quarters where you see values come down.
Yeah, because what's crazy is we've been doing this market update now, quick little market update that you can find it on our channel here at Loans Elevated. Every month we've been doing it in 2025. And I think every month, except for the last two, which one was basically flat and then one went down. Yeah. But every month prior to that was an increase of like 1 to 2% month over month, which is crazy.
Yeah. And it really is it mainly comes down to the supply and demand. So like I said, most people kind of take their eye off the ball a little bit in quarter four. And what you find is the people, like, inventory might sit a little more stale in quarter four markets, just because a lot of agents are telling their sellers, like, if you want top dollar, you probably should not try and sell in this market in quarter four unless you absolutely need to.
Right.
And key on the absolutely need to. So who do we think the people who are listed right now, who are needing to sell? They're the people who are really motivated, who want to sell because they know damn well that it's not the greatest time to sell a house. So there's obviously some clear dire need or more motivation to actually get rid of the property, which means as a buyer, there's more opportunity for you to leverage and negotiate and get a better deal, hence values coming down.
So not only do the supply and demand metrics at large feed into a better buying opportunity for buyers in the fourth quarter, but you're leading into something I hadn't even thought about, which is like psychologically, or I guess even professionally, you're not, the advice is not to sell in fourth quarter. The advice is to wait for springtime. So if you are selling, like, you can lever down hard. So we got market conditions that are giving buyers a lever in any market, in any season.
Yep.
And we have fourth quarter, this idea, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, because we're seeing, like, what do you think? Even in the hottest of markets, even summertime, we're seeing probably like an average of 3% in concessions.
Right.
And maybe that's on top of a decreased price. And if it's not on top of a decreased price, it's probably like over 3% in concessions on average.
Yep.
Dang, that's insane.
And historically, I would say, just in my experience, maybe you have other testimonies yourself, but I've had a couple buyers that I can think of over the past couple years who ended up closing between like October to December. And those were one of the few times that I actually saw a buyer walk into actual equity. Like, meaning the appraised value was much higher than what they ended up buying it for. Plus they had concessions, plus they had a price reduction already. And those, like, now that I really think about it, I can't think of another time during the year where that has happened so significantly.
That's crazy. I haven't noticed. I know that occasionally through the year we see people walk into equity on appraisals, but I haven't noticed. You're saying you did some research and it happens
a couple of
exactly.
Quarter. The couple of the clients that I'm thinking of bought between October and December.
Interesting. That's really cool.
So there's a couple other unique factors to this year, 2025, compared to prior years, which of course these benefits and these factors of the quarter four market are always going to be here. Like we said, I mean, quarter four is just generally a slower time. People want to cozy up and enjoy the holidays, slow down.
Yep. And it's inconvenient to move in the snow and all that crap.
Right, exactly. There's a ton of factors that go into it. But this year there's actually, in comparison to last year, now this is not Utah specific, so we'd maybe have to do a little research on this, but inventory is actually slightly higher. So there's more active listings than there were last year during this time.
Oh, nationally, you're saying?
Yes.
Right now, there are more active listings nationally this year than there were in prior years.
Yes.
Got it.
And more specifically to this year, it looks like I'm pulling this from, I need to get the source. This month in October, the most recent data, active listings are up 32% versus earlier this year. Which the uncommon thing...
That's in Utah? That's a Utah stat?
No, this is national.
That's national.
This is national.
Okay.
So the interesting thing about this is like the only con to trying to buy in Q4 as a buyer is there's not as much new inventory. There might not be a lot of great homes to pick through. Like there might be a handful of them, right? Because a lot of it is stale inventory that's just kind of dragged its way into the end of the year.
But you know what's crazy is, again, like you were kind of saying with realtors are commonly shying their buyers away from listings that have sat on the market for a long period of time. And buyers are kind of like, what's the deal? We talked about this in another episode where it's kind of like that listing has cancer or something, or has something else that's contagious and no one wants to touch it, right? Mm-hmm. So the other thing is, not only is Q4 an opportunity, but also just being intentional about the fact that right now is a buying opportunity, and do your due diligence, like dig into those aged listings and look at the stuff that's hitting, even though it's not fresh inventory. Like there could be a huge opportunity, and we have options from a financing standpoint that would allow you to fix up that kitchen or, put on the new roof or whatever. So and this is one of those unique opportunities where people can actually get, as opposed to what we normally preach, which is just long-term appreciation and long-term investment in real estate is what creates the wealth. This is one of those opportunities where you can leverage market conditions and seasonal conditions. Right. Yeah. I mean, we're probably talking tens of thousands of dollars in potential profit or more.
Yeah. So as a buyer, I mean, what you're looking for, and this is more probably even applicable to investors who are trying to make numbers work and negotiate better deals. Q4 is so significant for that because inventory's up, but also days on market continue to go up. Like the average days on market will go up in Q4. And that's what should, like if you're talking to a buyer's agent or you're talking to us, if you're trying to get aggressive and negotiate a really good deal, the number one sign of being able to do so is days on market.
Yeah. It's interesting. The last market update, we'll see what this one does. Average days on market was actually, or maybe median days on market, was actually 1 day lower than it was the previous month. Even though listings had increased and average prices had gone down.
Yeah. So that's the other thing that I wanted to talk about this time is, so we know how October has resulted the last 2-3 years, interest rate wise.
Yep.
Terrible.
Right.
Like we literally skyrocket every year since things. Yeah, it's been terrible.
We're like scared to even advise our clients on stuff.
Yeah, I remember 2 years ago. I mean, we were talking like high 7s, low 8s, and it had come down to like close to low 6s, and it's like as soon as October hits, the last 3 years, I don't know what it is, but things would absolutely reverse and get terrible during the months or during Q4. And so it was hard to have these conversations of like, hey guys, Q4 is a really good time to buy. Well, rates also just shot up 1%.
Right. So
and it's like, so we just sound like, we just sound like, hey guys, rates just shot up. We need business. It's a good time to buy. No, it's really, that's not it. Like this time it's so different because inventory's up, but also rates are down.
Yeah. You mentioned investors just barely.
Yeah.
The other thing for investors, I am one, and I just bought a property in Q4. I just barely closed. One very unique advantage, and of course you got to consult with tax advisors and stuff on all this stuff, but how it worked out for us is it was a huge lever for income taxes because we could do a cost segregation and get a huge deduction for this year where I pay less taxes or beef up my tax refund, whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's another thing for investors is like, Not only can you leverage and negotiate harder, not only do market conditions just in general allow you to negotiate harder, rates are improved, but also there's some tax benefits to getting it done in this calendar year.
So like you're getting an end of the year Black Friday sale on real estate, like the property itself.
Dude, that's
and then
so
you're
awesome.
getting the tax deductions as well, right before the buzzer beater.
Black Friday.
Like you can't, exactly. You cannot ask for anything better.
Does your home and auto insurance seem to go up every year without fail? Mine did too. I thought this was just the way the insurance industry worked until I found my friend Alan Johnson with American Family Insurance. After more than 15 years with the same insurance agent, he saved me over $3,000 per year when I switched. I refer all my family, friends, and clients to him, and their experience is similar. Great rates and a great experience. Call Alan for a free quote today at 801-708-2962.
But, I mean, even as a first-time home buyer, like if you've struggled this year finding a property and negotiating for the numbers that make sense to you, or maybe it's even a qualification factor, rates are down, and you can get more in concessions than you probably ever could have this year during the prior months and busier months.
Yeah.
So even as a first-time home buyer, it's not just an advantage to investors.
And almost early fourth quarter, this is me just thinking off the cuff, but early fourth quarter seems to make sense because then sellers are going to be less motivated to negotiate and more inclined to kick it into next year the later we get because holidays start. I mean, unless
you're
to
like,
your
let's
point,
just pull it off. But then again, like if there's still active inventory like that, those are the properties you're going to be able to negotiate really good deals because those sellers are still very, very motivated at that point. If they're keeping the property on the market through one of the worst times to try and sell a house during the holidays, the stretch from Thanksgiving through Christmas, through New Year.
Yep.
Like there's something telling there.
Yeah.
They need to get rid of that property.
Yeah.
So as a first-time home buyer, as an investor, as a step-up buyer, it doesn't matter. Like as a buyer in general, at least at bare minimum, you have to keep your eyes on the market. You have to be don't take your eye off the ball in quarter four.
Yeah.
You're looking to get in.
And you know what's interesting? So I was just pulling up some data on just Utah in general and Utah's trends. So we are well above prior years. You know, the last in the most recent 5 years, we're well above on active inventory.
Okay, yeah.
And the most recent data in October is trending upwards, which is unusual. Normally, you see that trend start to taper off and the listings start sinking in the fourth quarter. Right now, the trend is actually going up, which is opposite of the last 4 years and probably opposite of a longer term trend as well.
Yeah.
So
which tells you there may be more, maybe a bunch of those or a handful of those sellers are in more financial strain and they need to sell it.
And you know what? This is a quick plug on that like, if you are a seller that is in financial strain and you're looking at all this data, hearing all this information, and you're like, why in the world would I sell right now? You're basically telling me as a seller, I'm going to lose tens of thousands of dollars. Well, the other thing that you got to consider is the market conditions in mortgage. So we heard a stat today that home equity is at an all-time high, all-time in history high around the nation. Well, we can do refinances and cash out. You might lose your low rate, but who cares? You're going to save up. We've saved clients hundreds or thousands per month, or even second mortgages, whether it's a fixed second or a variable HELOC. You have these opportunities to lever down. So if you're a seller listening to this thinking there's no way in hell I want to sell in this market, then we have solutions for that too.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I find that very interesting because I pulled up back to the inventory topic.
Yeah.
I just stripped out land and mobile and everything else not applicable. And right now, active listings, we're at about 13,000 in quarter four, which I was saying, like, standardly, you don't see a ton of new inventory added to the market in quarter four. So that could be the downside is you might be picking from properties that could be on the market for a reason.
Sure.
Right. For a long time.
Right. Either seller's unreasonable, they're bottom of the barrel properties, whatever.
But this seems to be different this year. So it's like quarter four, there's opportunity to buy there almost every year in any market just because of the data that we have discussed. But this year, it seems to be even more significant because new inventory is still hitting the market, which again...
And trending upwards, which is nuts.
Exactly. Which again, why would you sell in a market where your agent's probably telling you to wait? Because you need to sell, because you want to get rid of the property. So more wiggle room there, but rates are down.
And you know what else is crazy that I'm looking at here? Under contract listings are trending down. new listings are trending up and under contract is trending down. That's not a good divergence.
Not a good mix.
No, it's not. We still think investing in real estate is a good call. I was
going to say, but not enough to be a huge red flag. Don't worry.
Yeah. If this lasts 6 months or a year, who cares? There will be a bounce.
We could also pull up foreclosures and stuff like that. We're still near.
Well, and the fact is, we're buying real estate. I just barely closed on one like a couple days ago.
But that's the thing is these little blips. This is why we're saying like these are opportune moments. It's not, hey, this is the start of a crash.
Yeah, I view it this way. We are long investors in real estate. Long investors in real estate kind of just buy whenever.
Yeah,
You're long investors in anything. You buy whenever.
I agree.
Time, but this is an opportune time to leverage down and juice your returns, even if you're a long investor.
Yeah, there's no perfect time to buy. We've always mentioned that. But if you're looking for a season of time during the year to get discounts, Q4 is your best shot no matter what.
Yeah.
You're going to get the best opportunities in Q4.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And this Q4 seems to be better than most.
Even more opportune, yep.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, the average rate, we're like mid-6s.
Probably, yeah.
We're looking at government even low 6s, high 5s.
Freaking 5s, yeah. And we're even quoting some ARMs on jumbo deals.
Low 6s, high 5s.
Yep. And then even investment properties, mid-6s.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, there's some opportunities in rates.
Right. I agree. Well, I mean, that's the gist of what I wanted to cover today. I think we hit on a lot of good points. Any other final thoughts on your end? Anything else that we might have missed?
No, I was researching some additional data. Another data point here is sold listings. Number of sold listings is not trending in a good direction, but is actually more on par than the rest here in Utah.
Mm.
So that divergence of under contract and active is really kind of the telling sign of opportunity, and knowing that it's not an ideal time to sell. And so if there is a seller listing, there's a reason, and that reason gives you even more. It's like negotiating power on steroids. And when you're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% on a house, we're talking tens of thousands of dollars on real estate in Utah. It's kind of crazy.
I mean, they're revealing some of their cards without doing so directly by listing in Q4. That's
and you just have to be thoughtful. And I think this kind of just goes to speak to the point, which we would be honored if you're listening to this and thinking, man, how do I get a realtor who's going to help me understand this data from a real estate perspective? Us as lenders, we're great at considering these details and we can help you, but we don't do the real estate side. If you're thinking you need somebody like that, we have, I would say, of course we're biased, but we have the best referrals of the best realtors that know this data, understand the psychology of buyers and sellers in the market conditions that exist, and can help you leverage in this market. And if you're a seller, like I said earlier, we can help you leverage other opportunities. If selling right now is not the right time, maybe it's not the right time, but I would say lean on us. If there's any questions or if this piqued your interest in some way, we'd love to help in any possible way that we can.
Yeah. And lastly, of course, please subscribe, like, share, do whatever you can to help us out. I mean,
make some comments and argue with us. I don't know why I ask that every time, but I like to argue.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I think it carries us further in society. Yeah, give us some things to chat about.
Cool. Thanks for joining.
Thank you for tuning in. For more industry insights, follow us on all platforms at Loans Elevated.
And to get in touch with our team, call or text 801-713-4000 or visit loanselevated.com.